Hello, family. This is Wakesa Madzimoyo coming to you, welcoming you to and inviting you to the beginning of our ACSE Open House and Educational Series. That is every Sunday, July and August, including the first one, which will be July 4th. We're going to hold an open house and hold a discussion/presentation. We invite you to come. We're going to talk about African Centered Sovereignty Education. That's what ACSE stands for, African Centered Sovereignty Education. And a couple of years ago, we went on an ACSE tour. We might be able to get some of that in on these open houses, depending on how things open up and how that pans out. We can't wait for that, though. We're going to begin, and we're beginning this Sunday, July 4th. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's talk African Centered Education. Now, a few points that I want to make. First, education is more than academic. It should support the family. It should support our community. It should support our people's highest aspirations. If it does not do that, then it is not an appropriate education. It is what Carter G. Woodson called miseducation. Because if it's not supporting our highest aspirations, it's supporting someone else's agenda. Number two, education is emotional. Education is also mental health, especially in this quasi-post-pandemic era. Education, number three, is more than noting and naming inequalities. It's more than begging others to change and for them to recognize that our lives matter. It's preparing our students to succeed in environments that were not designed for them. Takidra Nzinga Mawakana was our graduation speaker this year, our end of program speaker, and she talked about that. She talked about we're going to have children and to prepare them as young adults to go into spaces that were not designed for them. Yet spaces that they not only navigate because they weren't designed for them, but that they change. They redesign those spaces, not by acquiescing, not by being fake and phony, by bringing their authentic selves into those spaces and thereby redesign them. Number four, real education is preparing our youth and our people to be, and this is Baba John Henry Clark, responsible handlers of power for our people, for our families, and for the world in that order. I want to repeat this because many times we think education is just for a job. Well, we do want our education to prepare our youth to be able to create jobs, to handle jobs, to take on jobs. But education for people is not just about jobs. Jobs is the minimum. That is, we got to make money to take care of ourselves. But all of that is shaping a life that is a powerful life. Not because you say affirmations 20,000 times, but because you make things change. You expend energy, we expend energy, they expend energy, and they get results. Baba Clark told us that education is to make us become responsible handlers of power. And if the education that you're choosing for your children or that they're going in there, if most they do is operate like babysitters, they're not encouraging and training and educating your children to become responsible handlers of power, to see themselves as powerful, operating in this world now, not when the Lord comes, not when white folks change their minds, to be powerful now and in the future. Number five, education is not one size fits all. Educators and the system must first involve parents and our community, our highest aspirations, our goals, as well as our wisdom, our lessons that we have learned. Must engage the community. Second, it must be flexible. It must be steeped in African culture, which guides how we create, please listen, mission-oriented learning relationships and learning experiences. I want to repeat that. You see, there are many ways to shape learning relationships. There are many ways to shape learning experiences. The question becomes, is what we use to guide our relationship experiences and learning experiences, and relationship experiences, does that come out of our culture? Is that consistent with our culture and what we come from and what we want to become? You see, learning is all about relationships and experiences. The question is, whose culture is guiding the relationships? Most times the relationships they don't come out of our culture, right? They're not relationships based on authenticity. That would come out of our culture, ma'at. There would be relationships and experiences based on cooperation and competition. That is competition within an umbrella of cooperation. There would be relationships and experiences based on and designed to stimulate creativity, innovation, high expectations, high nurturing. So the question is the education that your child is receiving, have they shaped the experience of education, of learning? Have they shaped the relationships, whether it's the teacher-student relationships and or student-student and school to parent and community? Has that relationship been shaped by African culture and these values that I just talked about? If not, it is what Carter G. Woodson called miseducation. And please do not underestimate the impact of the socialization or mis-socialization when the culture of the learning experience, when the culture of the relationship experience is alien. That's what we've done for far too long. Number 6, education is no more about the white, black, Asian gap nonsense. If I hear that one more time, I think I will just croak or vomit, throw up. Those indices, white people graduated this level, black people graduated this level, Asian people graduated this level, white people have this and black people have that, and the gap, all of those gaps have been used to entice us to accept an education designed for them, designed for their challenges, designed for their agendas and their goals. So when we get really concerned about the educational gap, and then therefore we ask for more of their education coming from their challenges, their agenda shaped by their culture, y'all, guess what happens? It's what has happened. It doesn't serve us well, and we become further and further removed from the real gap. The real gap, the gap that I want to hear about, is the gap between the resources that we have, the skills that we have, the knowledge that we have, and that we need in order to restore our people to our traditional greatness. I'll repeat that. That's the gap. The gap, what is the gap between the resources we have and those that we need, between the skills that we have and those that we need, between the knowledge that we have and those that we need? Need for what? Need to remove people from power over us and to restore our families, our communities, our people to our traditional greatness. Those are the gaps that we need to focus on. Those gaps will guide us to shape an education that is a real education and not a miseducation. Like it or not, prepared or not, you are your child's first teacher. Your family is your child's first teacher. Our culture is your child's first teacher. The sooner we accept that role, that we are the first teachers and we're always the learning directors. So even when you choose to send your child to this program or that program, whether it's an after-school program, whether it's a Saturday school program, whether it's a full-day school, public or private, whether it's to get piano lessons, you are directing your child's learning. Whether they want to go one way and display some reservations, you are the director always. And what folks have done is tricked us into abrogating, surrendering that responsibility to those who are trained and those who are better, as opposed to those who are trained become consultants and become servants of our agenda, of the direction. They're providing our children what we want them to, our children to get. That's being a learning director. We're always the first educators, and we're always learning directors. It is important that we take that obligation and that opportunity and that honor seriously. And hopefully, AYA will be able to help you. That is what AYA has been designed to do. This is Wekesa Majimoyo. Appreciate you listening. And I'll see you at our ACSE Open House and Educational Series, starting July 4th and running every Sunday, July through August. Again, ACSE stands for Afrikan Centered Sovereignty Education. I mean, social justice is good. It's not the goal. Afrikan Centered Sovereignty Education. Take care. Thank you for listening.